What's up, everybody? We're back again today with another One Piece TCG Sim matchup. I'm playing Black and Yellow Big Mom, and we're playing a Kaido player. Now, I will say the Kaido player seemed to not be the most adept Kaido player there was, but still, it was a game. It was a good game. So we're going to start off with the put it and get the search and get the rush Katakuri to the hand. That Katakuri gets rush if your life is less than your opponent's, and you get to either look at the top life of the top card of your life or your opponent's life. Typically, early game, if you get it out on 4 or 5, you're going to look at your life so you can set up for either a later game or go ahead and get something to the hand that you need. They pass back to us, and we get the pair of Sparrow to hand, and we're on 3. So, the pair of Sparrow would be nice to get out because your opponent's not going to want to get it off the board because you get the search if it's KO'd. But I figured go ahead, swing in. Since we can't get the Katakuri out, that gives us a turn to take a hit to the life and get back below life for the Katakuri effect. The Kobe's pointless. There's no characters on board. So we're just kind of waiting to see if our opponent's going to take that first life. Of course, this being an OPO3 deck, sometimes your opponents are a little bit caught off guard. I do decide to go with the pair of Sparrow just because it is a big body. And so if for some reason they could tap it down and take it out, we do get a search to get certain things to our hand because we are essentially looking for our 7-drop Big Mom and our 10-drop Big Mom for late game. They are playing starter deck cards that I haven't really seen many purple players play, but we go ahead and take the life, so we're below life, and we get the 7-drop Lin to hand, which sets us up for not this turn, but next turn to go ahead and start getting those big bodies for the end game on the board. We are below life here, so we're kind of thinking about the Katakuri, but I am trying to be a better player, so I believe I'm thinking about things beforehand, but here's the mistake with that. Going into their life or swinging at their leader, if they take it, which if I remember correctly they do take it, evens out the life, so Katakuri then doesn't get rush, which is what happens here. So I, on the fly, have to decide, okay, well, then what do I go into? Now, the play would be to go ahead and go into the Cracker once we're done, launching attacks and stuff. There's really no reason to attach Dawn for power, in my opinion, is what my thought process was here, because with the pair of Sparrow, we're pretty much just setting it up for them to go ahead and knock it out so we can get that search to get to 10-drop Big Mom if possible. So at this point, I think I was just trying to decide, do I go with the Cracker? Do I go with Kobe? Exactly what do I go with? But obviously I play the Cracker because if we can take a hit to life, then we can attach it on and it becomes a 7k swinger with double attack, which would then allow us to get the upper hand on the life situation. But again, we do have the 7-drop Lin here prepared for next turn, and at that on play they can either trash one from their life or grant me a life. So if you know how to play against yellow, sometimes granting that yellow to life really messes things up. But they do take out the pair of Sparrow as we wanted, and we get the 10-drop Lin to hand, which sets us up for a couple of turns later. We get another 7-drop Lin, so if for some reason we have to trash a card or something, it's there to trash. But that does honestly set us up where if we go 7-drop Lin and then we're on 9, we can go another 7-drop Lin, and then the next turn we would be on 10. So then we get the other big 10-drop Lin on board and just have this massive amount of bodies. Now there were the black cards. I was running a navy package for the black and yellow, and this game, I really don't think I played many of them. The lines didn't come up where I felt it was necessary. The yellow side of things was just kind of handling the game, so I didn't feel the need to, but it was definitely there. I did play some games after this, and there were times where the black navy package definitely came in handy. Obviously, the Borsellino is one of the best blockers in the game right now, even going into OPO3 and OPO4. Well, obviously we're playing OPO3, but going into OPO4 as well, Borsellino still stays as one of the best blockers in the game, as far as from what we know right now. So from here, we're going to swing and just either get things out of the hand or get a character off board just so that they can't apply pressure to us. We go ahead and drop the 7-drop Lin so that they can make their choice. And I mean, if I was them, I would go ahead and just take the life so that it evens things out and I have less of a chance of coming out on top with the way yellow plays. But again, this Kaido player I don't think was the most adept at playing Kaido. There just wasn't a lot of your typical Kaido plays, and so I'm not gonna say like, you know, this is the best way to run this deck or anything, but it was a somewhat interesting game. So we're back. No, we're not back. It's their turn. Sorry. And we're just gonna kind of see what they do. We're evened out on life. It's 2-2. So if next turn we wanted to play the Rush Katakuri, we're just gonna take one. We're gonna take a hit to life. I never used Lin's effect in this game, but it is like attach 2 Dawn. I think tap 2 Dawn. You can trash a card, and then if you're at 1 life or less, add 1 to your life pile. And at this point, it was very interesting because it's like, okay, 8k into my cracker, but I'm kind of limited on my counters. So we're just gonna let the cracker go because we have the 7-drop Lin on board. From here, it's like, oh, at first I was thinking, do we counter? But then it's like, no, we're gonna take the hit to life. That way, if I decide to use the Katakuri, I can get its effect off. But we are on 9. We did get another 10-drop Big Mom. So essentially, we're set up. Like, even if for some reason they clear our board, we still have our big bodies that we could put out there. I was contemplating the Rush Katakuri here because we do have to still wait a turn to be able to get into our 10-drop. But even then, it's just kind of like you know, let's just try to swing a little bit and get some cards out of hand so that we're better prepared whenever the end game kind of comes up. But we do play the Rush Katakuri here and check out the top of their life just to make sure we're not going to be sending another 2k counter into their hand, or something like Hell's Judgment or Thunder Bagua. Because if they are going to get that off their life, we can either put it to the bottom and then be better prepared for whenever it's going to go to their hand, or we can go ahead and let them take it to their hand and be able to attack with the proper number. They do play the Blast Breath. Again, it's one you see here and there, but you don't always see it in purple. So this is just an all-around kind of different Kaido build. It definitely felt a little OPO 1-ish. So I almost wonder if this is somebody that jumped into a quick game and they just ended up getting paired with me. Well, we're going to pass it back over to them. They kind of negged themselves some Dawn here, which is fine. But it definitely keeps us in a position of kind of holding the power. We did play the 4-drop Borsellino just to have something. Since we're so far down in life, we don't want them to be able to stack up on their characters and their leader and kind of just swing. They took out the pudding. I really didn't care. It was a body I didn't want on board. If I would have needed to play a body with a full board and remove one, that would have been my choice anyways. It played its part. So at this point, it's kind of like, is Rush Katakuri worth saving? Is it not worth saving? And with having limited counters in hand, again, I don't think it's worth saving. Just because we do have big bodies, and Borsellino himself, even though he's only 5k on our turn, it's still big enough to swing if we need the extra swing to go for game. And they're going to swing 6k into the leader. I don't remember if I block here. Okay, so I'm going to block here, and I don't think I saved the Borsellino just because I felt very confident with between my hand and everything else that's going on in the game state, the Borsellino essentially is serving its purpose right there. So now we're on 10, and we're just... I don't remember if I go straight into it or if I do some swinging, because I know I'm not going to have any Dawn left. So, but we go straight into it. Go ahead and get that life off their side, and it trashes it. It doesn't go to their hand. So even if it would have been a 2K counter or a Bagua or Hell's Judgment, whatever, there's nothing to worry about because it just trashes it. No trigger effects, no nothing. And that's the power of the 10-drop Big Mom. Yellow is a deck that I very much so look forward to. It's very, I've heard people say it's oppressive. I don't think it's necessarily oppressive. I think it just is very good at controlling things, especially late game once you start getting your bigger bodies on board that kind of do a little bit more of the life manipulation and things like that. And overall, it's just a really fun deck. So here I decided that it's better to try to get the character off the board than swing into face, because I can't push for full game, but I could push next turn for full game regardless if they take out my 7-drop or not, because I can just drop another 10-drop, go ahead and trash their last life, and even if they take care of one body on the board, I still have plenty. I still have the power of the Lin to try to get something out of hand on top of having the 10-drop. They do have a blocker, which kind of hinders things a little bit, but it is what it is. So they go to the 8, and I want to say I'm going to save it here, but at the same time, I think my thought process here was, even if I save it, they're going to throw 3K onto Kaido and swing in for another 8, and I really don't have the counters for it at this point in time. So there's no point in deliberately losing resources just to try to save something that can't be saved ultimately. So save the 2K. We'll lose the 7-drop because we can play the 7-drop, and then we can play something like Parasparrow or throw Dawn onto the leader to have a bigger swing, because even with the blocker, we're still going to just push and apply as much pressure as possible. Now that I'm thinking about it, it probably would have been a little bit smarter to go 10-drop this turn that we're on. Go ahead and throw the second 10-drop. And then, okay, so I did do the 10-drop. So you do the second 10-drop and go ahead and get rid of their last life so it doesn't go to their hand. You don't increase their hand size, nothing of that nature. And at this point, they've only got 2 cards in hand, so even attacking with just a 5K, or they have to get out of the attack in order to not lose the game. So yeah, they get a Thunder Bagua tossed out of their hand. And now we know with the 12K, they probably can't do anything to really answer except for the blocker. But that's fine, because next turn, what comes back around, we have our leader, we have 2 12Ks on board, and we have another 7-drop in hand with plenty of other resources. We have counters at this point also. So if I remember correctly, they're about to concede here in a second, because there's really nothing that can be done. I mean, you can push with this. I'm going to take it because I can. And if I remember correctly, this gives me another 2K to hand. Yeah, we get the Strusen, which is just another 2K, which just sets us up even more. They stack up on the Kaido, but I believe they end up taking some off, if I remember correctly. Oh, yeah. So this is happening, and I didn't see what was happening because I was trying to plug my computer back up. So they threw Dawn off of the page 1. Oh man, I completely forgot about that. And attack with the 8K. And I'm like, at this point, I'm trying to understand what's going on, but I know I have plenty of counters in hand, so throw the Brenu, throw the 2K. I was a little offset, but I'm glad I took a minute to like look at things. That's why you always record with your computer plugged up so you don't run into that issue. And they concede at that point. It's GG's. And that's just the breakdown of Yellow Black Big Mom. There will be a compilation video up either tomorrow or the next day. But it's going to be a different build. I'm not going to go into details with the build for this game because I played games afterwards and it worked, but it didn't work. There was just little cogs in the machine, so I am currently working on a CP9 black heavy. Well, not black heavy, but the black cards are more CP9 relevant with the Big Mom for this Big Mom leader, because I think there's just going to be more synergy there. So I haven't played too many games with it, haven't really been able to test too much with it, but I think it'll work a lot better than the build that I had for this video. This video, again, I don't think the Kaido player was the most adept at playing Kaido. I think it was somebody that jumped into a quick game and they just happened to end up on me, but this was the game that I got recorded last night to do some post-game commentary on, and I still think it was a decent match. I mean, a lot of the life they took from me was stuff I wanted them to take from me, but it doesn't matter what the matchup is. That's kind of the way it goes. Yellow is like going to kind of push and then let you feel like you're pushing back. And then they're going to push, and then they're going to let you feel like you got the advantage again until you get into the bigger bodies and the life recovery, and then at that point you're kind of stuck in that Venus flytrap and there's no way out. So I hope you enjoyed what you saw here today. If you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're growing pretty much every day with that number, just a little by little, and we are on the road to 1,000. That has been my goal since the beginning of this channel, to just get to that 1,000 followers. The watch time will follow, and then we can start making a little bit back to be able to do bigger and better things with the channel. If you like what you saw, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps tremendously, not just with the video, but with the algorithm and getting it out there for more faces to see, so we can grow the community here on the channel. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Peace.